All right, good morning. We're going to be doing a lecture on Chapter 2, Creating Text and Gradients for Illustrator Creative Cloud. Remember, this is now free for students to access using their network login. You just have to sign into adobe.com and then use your network login. If you are having trouble, then please come in and then I can make sure that we get that going for you. Make sure that you are going to Blackboard to download your data files and to check out the YouTube videos. This will be clearly on the YouTube videos. And let's see what else. You also have access to Linda. That's free. And the one that I really recommend is called Illustrator and Web Design. So how Illustrator is used for web, because you can also use Illustrator to print out projects and or print out posters and things like that, but we don't really go into that. That's why we actually skip some chapters on Illustrator. We want to just focus on the web part of it. So on this Linda video, for example, I'll play it really quickly so you can see what it talks about.
All the new screen sizes and devices that are constantly flooding the market. The days of designing a basic desktop version of a website are over, and as a designer, we must adapt. In my opinion, the web isn't necessarily a target by itself anymore. Instead, it's becoming more of an overarching category that now encompasses many targets that we must design for. So what is the one thing that all of these targets have in common? It's screens. Whether it's a desktop, a laptop, an iPad, or a playbook, we have to know and understand the screens on which our designs are being viewed so that we can provide a better user experience for the end user.
All right, so definitely using Illustrator, not just for the UI UX, which is your user interface, your user experience, but also to create logos, to create vector images that are resolution independent, so that when you try to zoom in or blow them up into really big size, it won't get blurry or pixelated like JPEG files do, or if you try and maybe download a photo, you want to create your own images and make them fit the web nicely and clean. So we are in chapter 2. The objectives are to create point text, position text on a path, create colors and gradients, and apply gradients to strokes. I'm going to walk you through the chapter. So the project builders, the ones at the end of the chapter, you guys are responsible for. You're supposed to be able to do those independently after you've done the chapter to see how much you've learned. So I'm going to guide you through the chapter, and if we get still stuck on the project builder one, then I'll help you with that as well. So download the data files. So I already downloaded mine. It looks like this. Then of course open up your Illustrator. Mine looks a little different than yours because I'm still using the 2015 version, and you guys are probably using the 2018, but I will be updating that soon, hopefully by next week. So what is a gradient, guys? What you guys think a gradient is? Right, it blends from one color to another one, right? So we're going to be doing some gradients on this one. We're going to start on page 2-6, and it tells me to open, file, open, AI 2-1. So I'm going to go to my data files. 2-1, I believe. Where are my data files? Did I save them to my desktop? Chapter 2. Another thing you can do is just grab it from here and open it in here. Maybe it'll let me do it. Maybe not. Okay, so it's just a blank document. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Then save it as Berry Symposium. Also, make sure that when you're saving your Illustrator files, you're saving a copy of it using the AI extension, and then also saving one using the PDF. You're going to convert it to a PDF. And the one you submit to me is the PDF, not the AI. The AI stays in on your thumb drive, not on the server, because they can get really they can take up a lot of space. They're big files, but you still want to save a copy of it in case you need to go back and edit it. Okay, so I'm going to just save berrysymposium.ai to my desktop. And you don't save it as a PDF until you're done, until everything is done with it.
You always click the fast web viewing?
Yes, you always want to make sure that it's fast web viewing. Right, exactly. Okay, we're going to go to the view on the menu bar. We're going to go to hide bounding box. That's this one right here. And then remember, same thing we've been learning even with Sublime. We have shortcut keys right there. And then it says click the type tool. And then click anywhere. And the type tool is over here. If you hover above each one of these, it'll tell you which one, what they are. And then also when you hold down the icon, it'll give you other options. So this one's the type tool right here. Then click anywhere on the artboard. And then this is what we call our artboard. So I'm clicking there. And type Barry using all capital letters. So caps lock goes on. And there's Barry. And by default, new text is generated with a black fill and no stroke. Text you create by clicking the artboard is called point text. Click the selection tool. This one's the selection tool. This one's the direct selection tool. So these two are different. They're this one's more for being more specific when you're trying to click on something, versus the other one is when you're clicking on the whole thing. You're just selecting a whole group of stuff. And you'll see, we'll work with these tools a lot. But for now, we're just going to click on the selection tool. Then drag the text to the center of the artboard. So we're going to drag it to the center. So like right there. You can also, Oh, yeah. Well, you can also follow like your rulers. Like you have your rulers here. So you can also kind of see. And then if you control minus, control plus, you can zoom in, zoom out, and see your whole artboard a little bit better. Because I know sometimes you might not be able to see the whole thing. So control plus. All right, so moved it to the center. And then it says verify that smart guides are not activated. They're not activated. Oh, yeah, they are smart guides. So you may want to go ahead and close out of that. That was under view, smart guides. Austin, we're doing a lecture on chapter 2. So that was Barry. And click window on the menu bar. So window. And we're going to go to type. And then click character. So whenever you don't see a panel over here and you're like, where did that panel go? Where did that? You have to always go to window and then you can open that panel back up. So we're going to go to type, then character. So if you don't see it here, just keep going down. And it's all in alphabetical order. And then you're going to go to character. And that'll open up a panel. Where did it open up?
If you have two monitors, it might open up on that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I need to switch this layout. It did.
It was doing that to me.
It
I
did.
kept figuring out, like, where the hell is all this thing and clicking on going? It was on all the other screens.
There it is. And you can dock. So you can actually dock these panels, make them, you can create your own layout and then save that layout by going to, or you save, it's called a workspace on Illustrator. And you can make it your own, customize your own, and then save it. Because sometimes what Illustrator has as a default, you may not like. So now we're on character and the character panel options, which is this guy right here. That's your character panel options. Click show options. So we're going to go to the right top, right over on the little drop down. And then show options. That just expands your panel. Because right now we had like a condensed version of it. It was only up to here, and now we have a lot more icons to view the entire panel. Yeah, so basically what we just did was we used the type tool to create the word Barry, showed the character panel, then expanded it. All right, so we're going to format this Barry text. We're going to click on the font family and point to Times New Roman. So font family, which would be right here. Again, if you hover above it, it'll tell you what it is. So there's font family and there's font style. So the top one is your font family. And we're gonna, I'm scrolling with my mouse. Huh? Oh, you can type it too? And then I just put Times New Roman. Then click regular from your font style. So this is your font style. So if you drop down, you can see what the difference between font family and font style is. And it's already on regular, so we're good there. Click the font size text box, right here, your font size text box. And you're going to type 142. Wow, that's really big. And then press enter. Why isn't that working for mine? Did I not have it selected this whole time? I didn't have it selected this whole time. Make sure your text is selected, by the way. If not, it will not work. That is funny. This whole time. Much better. And then again, you can select it so that you can move it. All right, we're good. We're all so far on the same page, on the same artboard. All right. Click the horizontal scale text box, type 90. So we're over here, and you can see that there's a vertical and that there's a horizontal. So yes, we're going to make it into a 90 instead of a 100. So let's see what that does. Horizontal. Click the horizontal, type 90. Deselect all and compare your text to figure 5. To deselect, does it tell us how to do it? Yeah, you could just click off as well, but there's also a way to just deselect. Oh, there you go. When you go to the select, you can put deselect, and it'll go ahead and you no longer have this text selected. There's a shortcut, and that's Shift Control A, which I mean, I feel like that's not really a shortcut, but you could also use that. So that's deselect. All right, we compare our text to figure 5. It looks just like it. Great. Now we're going to go to 2-8. 2-8. Wait, we're done with that. No, we're still working on the same file, but we flipped the page. We're on 2-8 now. And now we're going to do track and kern text. So we're slowly working up to the gradients. Right now we're just messing with the text. So select the text if it is not. Okay, so again, selection tool, select it. And you're using the character panel, so we're still using this. You're going to click the tracking icon. So where is the tracking icon at? And you can just hover above each one and find the tracking icon. It is this one right here. It's right below. It's the one that says VA, and then it has like a line going across it, an arrow, a double side arrow. Yes. There's not a tracking one?
On this one, it says set the kerning between 2 characters. I mean, it's the same icon.
Mm-hmm.
Has a different.
The kerning doesn't have a box.
Oh.
But the one to the right of it,
You're right.
is the tracking.
And then it explains to you in figure 6 what the kerning and tracking is. Like the -30 point tracking affects the whole text, the whole selection, versus the kerning is for each space between the letter. Is that right? Yes. If you read the very bottom part of page 2-8, it says that you use the character panel to change the tracking of the word berry. Then you do the kerning values to affect the spacing between the letters. And then you center align the text. So yeah, that's how it works with kerning and tracking. So we did the tracking. We set it to -30. You just use your hyphen for the negative. Then you're going to go to the type tool. Then click the cursor. So we're going to go to type.
Did you already do the kerning?
Not yet. I just did the tracking. Because first you got to click on your type tool. Then click between B and E. So you have to put your cursor there before you do the kerning. Then you're going to go to character panel, click the up and down arrows in the kerning text box. So this is your kerning right here. So what it wants you to do is see what happens when you do this. As you can see, can you see what's happening to your letters? It looks like the rest of the word is trying to run away from B. And if you go down, they're coming closer to B. I know it's pretty cool how I think Illustrator, you can really make it super specific and really go into the details of what you want your everything to look like. A lot of people even use Illustrator to create their resumes now, which I think is really cool because it's just more. Marcos loves to do his lectures and his presentations, and when he does, he uses Illustrator because he knows that if anybody were to zoom in, it'll look perfect, crisp, clear. So definitely Illustrator is very useful for a lot of things. All right, so what are we setting it to? We're setting it to -40. So let's go ahead and just change it to -40. And then enter. And then you're going to use figure 6 as a guide. Change your kerning to -20, 0, and -120 between the next 3 letter pairs. So you're going to go to between E and R. You're going to change that to -20. And I'm just following figure 6. You're going to go between R and R. You're going to change that to 0. Oh, that's already 0. And then you're going to go between R and Y. And you're going to change that to -20. Or -120. -120. -120. Then you're going to click the selection tool. And then you're going to click the paragraph panel name tag. So paragraph, these are tabs. So up here, these are all tabs, which if you did Office, you'll remember that we talked about tabs. And then when you opened up the ribbon, it was all grouped by groups. And then you would go and select the icon. So same thing here, we're selecting a tab. And once you've clicked on the paragraph tab, you're going to click the align center, which is this one. And then you're going to, when the text is center aligned, its anchor point doubles as its center point, which is handy for aligning of other objects. Clicking the align center button. Should I drag it a little bit more? Because I don't think that's really centered. Clicking. Oh, see, it even says that. It says clicking the align center button centers the text inside the text box only. It does not center the text on the page. So you can just move it back if you want. That way it's not outside of the artboard. Click object on the menu bar. Boom. And point to hide, then click selection. So hide selection. Let's see what that does. And our berry went away. That's what it says, right? I think so. All right. So on page 2-9 now, we're going to click the vertical type tool. So we're going to, this isn't the one that you want. You want the vertical one. So you have to hold down the icon, then click on vertical type tool. The vertical type tool is hidden beneath the type tool. Okay, then you're going to type the word berry using all capital letters. So let's go ahead and type berry, all capital letters. And you're going to click the selection tool, move it to the center of the artboard. Then you're going to use the character panel. So we're going back to the character panel. Change the font size to 84. So font size 84. Then you're going to change the tracking value to -160. So tracking value, we remember it was down here. We're going to change it to -160. Verify that both the horizontal and vertical scales are set to 100%. So I think this one needs to be changed because this one's at 90 and we want it to be 100. Oops, I almost put 1,000. Horizontal and vertical need to be 100%. Then deselect the text. So remember, deselect, boom. Delete the vertical text and save your work. So delete this. We just are learning how to do stuff on Illustrator. All right, so now we should be a little bit more comfortable with our type tool, and that'll come in handy when we go on to the next lesson. So that was all of lesson 1, was just learning how to use the type tool. Now we're going to put type into a shape. So we're done with this one. I wonder if I should pause it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop this one, huh? No, we deleted it. Yeah, I made you delete it. Oh, you know what? I minimized the other one. Okay, so let me pause this one.